Happy to have you with us this week as the Cowboys get ready for Baylor, and we're joined by Oklahoma State University Athletic Director Chad Weiberg. So let's just start moving forward. You've been through searches before, obviously with David Taylor and J.C. Hoyt and Steve Lutz. What have you learned from those coaches' searches that maybe will help you with this one?
I think it's really important for us to have a high-integrity search. I've talked about that a lot before, and I get that there's going to be a tremendous amount of interest in this search, as there was with the head, men's basketball coaching search. But I think to get the level of interest that you hope to have for the job, all the potential candidates need to know that it's going to be a high-integrity, process, and because it's likely that many of the candidates will obviously have jobs, and they'll have jobs at places that they may not want them to know that, they're interested in another job. And, I feel like it's our responsibility to make sure that our search process is a very high integrity process that can protect them and their interest in the job. And that way, our pool is as big and broad as we want it to be, and have the highest quality candidates in the pool as we can be. So I get that there's interest. I get that there's questions. I get that there are people that are going to want to know what's going on. But I just hope that everybody understands that the reason we can't talk about it while we're going through that process is that reason.
Sure.
Is we are, wanting to run as a high integrity process as we can. I think we did that pretty well in the men's basketball search, so I think we'll kind of use that as best we can as the model for the search.
How important is it to have a coach in place as close to the end of the season as possible, given the portal and then the NIL component that goes with that, et cetera?
Yeah, it's important. With the men's basketball search, I talked a lot about that, it's most important to get it right than to hurry, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is true always, but that process was a little bit different. We had a kind of a shortened time frame that we were working on in that process. With this one, we've got a little bit longer runway. And so the idea is that we will use this runway that we have so that we are ready to go as soon as we can possibly be ready to go for all the reasons that you just talked about. There is the portal and all of those things that will open up, and so we want to put our new coach in the best position to succeed as we possibly can. And that timing will be dependent on both our side and his side, whatever that may look like. But I think everyone will understand the importance of it at that point.
We're in this transition time in college football, and it seems to pertain to the search. And what I mean is, what's the balance between hiring a coach that has experience, but also hiring someone who is sort of growing up in this new era and new way of doing things? Right.
Well, I put a lot of value on experience, right? I mean, I think any hire is has risk involved with it, and you can see that around the country. All the hires that have been made. In some cases, there's hires that have been made that everybody thought was a slam dunk hire, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't pan out. So there's risk involved in all of these things, and so experience is one of the things that you can point to that minimizes the risk.
Sure.
But I don't, that doesn't necessarily mean a direct correlation with age or, to your point about this new world that we're in. I think, I don't know that you necessarily have to be younger per se to be able to deal with this new age that we're in. I think there's more that can be just wrapped up in what is your experience with dealing with this new age that we're in, right? That's what we're going to be looking for is we have been in it, and how have you dealt with it? How do you approach it? What do you think about it? What's your vision for dealing with it? And that will be, I think, we're going to look at the experience much more than we are if you're younger, if you're older, how long have you been in it, or, anything like that, because I don't know that will be the factor.
Understood. So what's going on right now? What's happening right now as we start this?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of sort of what I would call internal work. I mean, and looking at our structures, how we're set up here in athletics and the football operations here. How have we been? How do we think we should be moving forward in this new era? And part of that is because obviously those are going to be conversations that we get to with candidates. And so as much as we're going to be asking them, what is your vision? How have you done this? What has your experience been? I think they're going to be asking the same questions. How is Oklahoma State set up for this? How's the football program set up for this? What are the pieces that are in place for me as I walk into this? And so we have to have those answers ready to go. And that is another thing about having this runway, is I think it gives us the time to be able to have those kinds of answers ready to go. We'll have a search firm involved with this process as well, and that's part of keeping, I think, the process high integrity. Mm-hmm. They can do a lot of things that help with that process, and so we're obviously in that mode. And we have to be aware that most, if not all, of our candidates are coaching right now. They're actively in their seasons. So,
right.
So there's some nuances with how that works. We have to be we have to be respectful of them and the job they have and the job they're doing, respectful of the school that they're at currently, or the job they're at currently. And so we'll do all of those things, but we can be doing a lot of other groundwork and laying, getting things in place to be able to move when we're able to move.
So this question is a follow-up, but it perhaps is jumping the gun a little bit. But let's say right now you're just going to give us an advertisement for this job. What things would you say, and what things would you say perhaps that might soothe some of the concerns that might be out there? What would you say, what's the ad look like for this job? Why it's good?
Well, I talked about this in the press conferences. I think the picture that I might show is of the stadium on Friday. Everyone is aware, right, that we struggled last season. We finished 3-9 last mm-hmm. season. Everyone is aware that we lost the game previously to that by 66 points. And yet, Friday night, when the lights came on, the television cameras came on, Boone Pickens Stadium was full. And I think that, if there was one picture that summed up what this place and our fan base is about, it's that one right there. I mean, that to me is the epitome of loyal and true. And I think if you're a coach looking for a situation to walk into, that's one of the biggest things that you're looking for, is what is the fan base, what is the support. And so that, in any search that I'm going through, whether it was the Cowgirl basketball search, Cowboy basketball search, Cowboy wrestling search, I sell our fans and our donors and our alumni base, because I do think that makes us different and unique in a lot of ways, and that is wrapped up in the support that they provide, but it's also just the environment, just the family, what's part of it being the family. And so that's what I sell first and foremost. Obviously, then you get down into all of the weeds of what are the resources that I have available yes. to me to win, because it's very clear that, and I think I talked about this in our release, is the stakes have never been higher and the competition is intense. Those two things go together. The reason that the competition is so intense right now is because there is an awareness of the stakes right now. Mm-hmm. Every school in the Power 4 level and even the Group of 5 level, I think is aware of what's going on in college athletics and the potential for there to be future realignment and in this game of musical chairs, if the music stops, are there going to be people left without chairs? All those things. It's happened once before, Yes. It's been speculated for a long time. Well, it happened. We know now that it can happen. Just ask Washington State and Oregon State, right? As the music can stop and there can be not enough chairs for everybody to go around. And so you want to position yourself in a place that you are going to have a chair no matter how many chairs there is or whatever it may be, that you feel good about having a chair. And so that is why the stakes are so high, is because we're not the only ones recognizing that. There's institutions, athletic departments all over the country that recognize that's the case. So they're all trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And that's the environment that we're bringing a new head coach into, right? And so every coach that we're going to talk to is going to want to come here and be successful. The only way that they can be successful is if they have the resources here to be successful. We could hire the absolute best X's and O's football coach out there, and if he doesn't have the resources, he's not going to be successful. So the two things go hand in hand, and so that's what we have to continue to do, and I think we have it. I mean, it goes back to our support from our administration, starts with our Board of Regents through President Hess, and it is all about our donor base and our fan base. And I talked about the 123 suites that we have that are sold out, and all those things all add up and all matter in providing the resources to be able to go out and compete in this highly intense environment and with the stakes. And so I'm going to point to all those things and be able to show what it is that we have for him to be able to win and compete here. And then the final piece of it is, I think, it's a hard sell, I think, to try to convince someone to come to a place, wherever that place may be, and do something that's never been done there before. It's hard, that's a bigger leap. Well, that's the great thing about what Coach Gundy did here in establishing our ability to win, is because I'm not selling a dream or something that's never been done here. I'm going to be talking about something that is reality. We've been there. We've done it. We've won at the Big 12 Conference Championship. We've won at the highest level, New Year's Six Bowls and all of those things. And so it's not like I'm going to be talking just in theory or, dream mode or any of that. That this is a place that has won at that level before, and because of all these things that we have and are in place, we believe that we can win at that level again.
It's interesting what you're saying. This sort of ties to it, I suppose. It almost, people are wondering, what can I do to help? What's my role in this? It almost seems like we're now, with 9 games left and I believe 5 home games, we're like in an audition mode. Do you look at it that way, as like the fans, whatever our fans do, how much they come to the games, how much they support, we're auditioning for the new head coach. Can we look at it that way?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it doesn't do me any good, for example, to talk about Friday night if Saturday's game looks very, very different, right? And so I think that's exactly right. I mean, we need everybody doing everything they can, which starts with showing up. Just come here. It's going to be a beautiful day on Saturday. There's going to be tailgating going on all over campus. And you know what? The Cowboys are going to take the field.
Yes.
And we need to be here to support the Cowboys taking the field on that day. And yes, that's a billboard. People know now this job is open. And every coach out there that has any interest in possibly pursuing this job, guess what they're going to be doing at 2:30 Central?
Watching Oklahoma State play.
If they can, they're going to have an eye on what this looks like on Saturday. And so I think it is incredibly important for us to just show up and show that we are supporting our team, our university, and because that's just what we do. And then I think beyond that, I think it is like you said, what can I do, right? And so I think what I would ask our fans, our alumni, to do is just do what you can, whatever you can. I think we've got close to 250,000 living alumni, right? And those alumni are spread out all over the country and all over the world. So it may not be possible for you, if you live in Seattle, Washington, or whatever, to be at the game this weekend. but we need you to be supporting if you can, and join the posse at whatever level that you can join the posse. I mean, if everyone did just what they can do, that would help us get exactly where it is that we want to be.
Chad, we appreciate the time, and we wish you the best of luck. We know that this is a challenging time, but I know we're all so confident in you leading the organization through this, so we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Go Pokes.
That's Oklahoma State University Athletic Director Chad Weiberg, and we'll see you next week.